So this is the backbone and this is the breastbone. All I've done is cut through some of the rib cage here. And I'm going to, the easiest way to get these two sections apart is just to rip them apart with your hands. Now some skin that's keeping it attached. Okay, and I like to remove the skin because then we can see where we're at, and it's a lot of fat, as you can see, underneath that skin. And this little bit of flesh that's dangling here at the bottom, that is still meat, so I usually leave that on, just trying to get rid of most of the fat. Okay, so we've got a few little ribs here that came along with it when I cracked it. Let's get those out of there. Okay, so we have the breast meat right attached to the breastbone here, and for the most part I cook this with while it's still on, but I do like to take, there's one layer in here, and if you work your thumbs through it, you can actually lift off the top layer of breast meat. And I'm just getting up right inside the center of it and down and around. Okay, so that's one chunk of breast meat. This is the tenderloin in there. It's probably the most tender portion of the chicken. A lot of butcher shops will remove the tenderloin right off of the breastbone. I tend to leave it on. You get to eat all the meat rather than having some waste on that breastbone. Okay, and again I'm using my thumbs, gently removing it from against the tenderloin, taking my knife, poking it in, okay, cutting just along the top edge of the breastbone. So we have two breasts, chicken breasts there, and then the tenderloin still attached onto the breastbone. Again, I like to leave it attached onto the breastbone and just cook it that way. Even if I'm dredging this in flour and eggs and crumbs, I will still cook it on the breastbone. The only difference that because it is such a large piece, I often will take another knife and cut. And that breastbone is tough, but it's not that tough. It can be cut. And I'm cracking it. Okay, so we have the tenderloin. I did cut it in half, but the breastbone is still all intact. Okay, now the backbone, the rib cage, and the tail. Let's deal with that. Removing that skin, that excess skin off of there. And we can see that there's the tail on this end. I usually take that right off. Now, some people might like it. No one in our house does, so it comes off as waste. And we also take the neck off, and we do use that because we have people in our house that will eat that. Okay, and there are bones in there, but that cut through quite easily. Now, a lot of people will use this to make soup. We'll make stock out of it. I like to cook it with the rest of the meat. So I am just going to remove it from the rib cage. That backbone I'm taking off by the rib cage. So you have to get your muscles out when you're doing this. You always want to make sure that the bird is clean. We will take this over to the sink and we will wash it out. There's a little bit left inside here that shouldn't be in there. I'm just removing. Okay, and the rest I will get when when I wash it, and inside the ribs as well. Just remove that. Okay, now the one last thing that I want to show you is how to separate the drumstick from the thigh. We've got two pieces, two sections here. I want to take the drumstick off the thigh. If you look, so we've got two joints here, so we've got to find the center of the joint, and if you feel with your fingers, you can feel a little ridge in there. Another way is to have a look on the inside. There is a little strip of fat, a little white strip of fat that runs right through here. That is right where those joints are, and if you cut right on that strip of fat, you should hit the joints. And we did, and it cuts quite easily. Okay, so find the joint with your finger. Okay, look for the little ridge of fat that runs through. Missed that one just ever so little. Okay, so we've got two drumsticks, two thighs, in this case one wing, we should have two, two breasts, two fillets that are still attached to the breastbone, and then the rib cage and the tail, well, I should call it the backbone actually. And there is some meat on here, not a lot of meat, but it's very, very tender, the meat that's on there, and that's why I like to keep it. Okay, there you have it. One last step to do is to rinse it all off before I decide to use it. So the last thing that we have to do is take this over to the sink, rinse it off, and we're ready to use it in our recipe. Good luck with cutting up your chicken.